Hey Spurs fans, welcome back to another update on our San Antonio Spurs. Before we jump into today's breaking news, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. That way you'll never miss the latest stories, big announcements, and exclusive Spurs coverage. The moment the news broke, a sudden, seismic headline declaring that Anthony Edwards had officially signed a 3-year contract that would reshape the immediate future of whichever franchise managed to secure him. The basketball world froze in a collective gasp, and within seconds the San Antonio Spurs found themselves propelled into the center of an electrifying storm of possibility, intrigue, and speculation that spread like wildfire through sports networks, insider circles, and fan communities hungry for any clue about whether this shocking development might align with the team's rapidly intensifying pursuit of elite talent to pair with their generational cornerstone, Victor Wembanyama, creating the kind of narrative twist that transforms expectation into destiny. Spurs executives, while remaining outwardly poised and inscrutable, reportedly moved with the urgency of a franchise recognizing that a rare moment was unfolding in front of them. And sources suggest that as soon as Edwards' contractual horizon became clear, the front office immediately began recalibrating its long-term map with a sharper, more assertive strategy, driven by the belief that adding a scoring force of Edwards' caliber could accelerate San Antonio's leap from a rebuilding project into a legitimate Western Conference threat, capable of challenging not in the distant future, but in the unfolding present. Insiders close to the situation revealed that the Spurs have been monitoring Edwards not merely for his scoring dominance, but for his mentality, a competitive identity forged in fearlessness, self-belief, and a level of charisma that energizes teammates and destabilizes opponents, making him the type of player who carries not only production but presence. The exact ingredient San Antonio's youthful roster desperately needs to complement Wembanyama's measured brilliance and growing superstardom. The shockwaves extended far beyond Texas, with analysts across national media pointing out the unmistakable timing. Just as Edwards committed to a fresh 3-year path, the Spurs' interest intensified with almost poetic synchrony, hinting at a deeper, meticulously crafted plan unfolding behind closed doors. One that embraces Edwards not as an optional luxury, but as a foundational necessity for the next phase of the franchise's renaissance. While Edwards' signing signals stability for whichever team currently holds his rights, it simultaneously paints a target on his back for ambitious organizations, and none appear more determined or quietly aggressive than the Spurs, who understand that championship windows do not wait politely. They must be constructed, manipulated, and seized before competing forces can respond. In the eyes of San Antonio's leadership, Edwards represents a rare bridge between the present and the future, young enough to grow with the roster, but seasoned enough to impact winning immediately, possessing a dynamic scoring ability that the team has been sorely lacking for several seasons, making him a strategic match that aligns perfectly with the Spurs' evolving identity under Greg Popovich's modernized, player-centric approach. Behind the scenes, figures within the Spurs organization have reportedly been mesmerized by Edwards' growth trajectory, especially his transformation from an explosive young talent with limitless potential into a polished, confident franchise-level weapon whose offensive versatility, 3-level scoring, improved shot selection, advanced ball handling, and evolving playmaking instincts places him among the deadliest young guards in the league, making the possibility of pairing him with Wembanyama not merely enticing, but downright terrifying for any opponent imagining how to game plan against such an unprecedented duo. As soon as the 3-year contract was announced, social media erupted in speculation about San Antonio's intentions, with fans and analysts alike piecing together breadcrumbs from past rumors, subtle front office comments, and Edwards' own openness about enjoying high-pressure, spotlight environments that allow his personality and energy to shine. Conditions that align with San Antonio's rising profile now that Wembanyama has transformed the franchise into a magnet for league-wide attention. The interest is not one-sided. Those familiar with Edwards' mindset insist he is deeply intrigued by situations where he can serve as both the primary perimeter force and the emotional catalyst, a role that San Antonio can offer in abundance, especially considering the team's need for a fearless scorer capable of taking over in key moments, complementing Wembanyama's methodical dominance with an explosive edge that would elevate the entire roster. For Popovich, known for his gift in turning competitive fire into structured excellence, Edwards represents an opportunity to mentor a player whose natural swagger and intensity would thrive within the Spurs' unique blend of freedom, discipline, and tactical precision, creating the type of environment where both player and team elevate beyond their projected ceilings. The Spurs' interest deepened even further thanks to Edwards' 3-year timeline, which aligns perfectly with San Antonio's projected maturation curve, giving them a window to add veteran depth, refine their young core, and transform the team into a fully operational contender just as Edwards would be hitting the peak of his athletic prime, making him not merely a temporary addition but a franchise-altering investment. As analysts dug deeper into the implications of the signing, many pointed out that Edwards' new deal does not diminish his trade value. In fact, it increases it by providing contractual stability, making him an even more appealing target for teams like the Spurs who possess a valuable collection of draft capital, young talent, and financial flexibility, granting them tools to construct a compelling offer if the opportunity emerges. Meanwhile, fans in San Antonio responded to the news of Edwards' contract with an explosion of excitement bordering on delirium, flooding comment sections and fan forums with scenarios, projections, and wishful configurations, imagining Edwards slashing through defenses while Wembanyama towers over them, forming an offensive-defensive synergy so powerful it could redefine the future of Western Conference basketball. In conversations across the league, rival executives privately acknowledged that a Spurs team featuring both Wembanyama and Edwards would represent a nightmare matchup, a blend of unmatched size, speed, and unpredictability capable of tearing apart traditional defensive schemes and forcing opponents into uncomfortable adjustments before games even begin. Popovich himself, though typically reserved in public comments, has recently made subtle remarks about seeking players with fearlessness, edge, and joy, descriptions that align perfectly with Edwards' game and personality, raising eyebrows among insiders who believe these were not general philosophical musings, but coded signals expressing admiration for a specific player. The Spurs have historically moved with deliberate patience in roster building, but Wembanyama's emergence has accelerated the franchise's timeline, pushing the. Before we go on, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Your support keeps our Spurs coverage strong and brings you the latest updates straight from San Antonio. And jump into the comments. Tell us what you think about today's news. In analytical circles, comparisons have already surfaced imagining Edwards as a modern-day Manu Ginobili archetype, an unpredictable, explosive force capable of swinging games single-handedly, except built within a far more athletic and physically dominant frame, making him perhaps the most uniquely aligned star the Spurs could pursue in the post-Duncan era. Wembanyama's presence, meanwhile, offers Edwards something he has rarely had, a partner whose gravity draws defenders like a magnet, freeing him to attack space with unprecedented freedom, creating a synergy that could elevate both players into MVP-caliber seasons if maximized under Popovich's guidance. Even veteran players around the league have commented on the potential pairing, with some noting that Edwards' aggressive scoring and Wembanyama's towering versatility form a complementary profile reminiscent of legendary duos. The ferocious perimeter star paired with the generational big man, a configuration that has defined many of the NBA's most dominant eras. Early betting markets, always eager to anticipate major shifts, began adjusting their long-term projections the moment rumors surfaced linking the Spurs to Edwards, a sign of just how drastically his presence could alter the competitive balance. For Edwards, the 3-year deal signifies both commitment and opportunity, providing stability while preserving the flexibility for future decisions. And league insiders suggest he has no intention of being confined to a franchise without ambition, an attitude that aligns perfectly with San Antonio's rising trajectory and its clear desire to build a championship-caliber environment around Wembanyama. Spurs players currently on the roster, especially Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Malachi Branham reportedly view the idea of adding a star like Edwards with genuine enthusiasm, recognizing how his arrival could elevate their roles while reducing the burdens that currently weigh heavily on a young group still learning to navigate the pressures of high-stakes basketball. The buzz surrounding Edwards has also energized Spurs fans in a way not seen since the peak of the dynasty years, with many viewing the possibility of his arrival as the missing puzzle piece that could unlock Wembanyama's full potential and catapult the team from intriguing to terrifying, turning the Spurs into a destination of choice for future elite players seeking stability, development, and high-level competition. Front office strategists, meanwhile, understand that opportunities to acquire a premier young star rarely appear more than once in a decade, especially one whose prime aligns seamlessly with the maturation curve of a generational big man, making Edwards a uniquely valuable opportunity that cannot be ignored. The creation of a Wembanyama-Edwards axis would dramatically alter San Antonio's offensive structure, allowing them to operate with dual engines, an inside-outside attack capable of overwhelming defenses through relentless pressure, spacing manipulation, and unpredictable tempo shifts, granting the team a level of versatility unmatched by most modern NBA contenders. Even defensive experts have taken notice, acknowledging that Edwards' physical strength, improving discipline, and competitive fire could mesh beautifully with narratives surrounding Edwards and San Antonio, has already ignited debate among fans and analysts, with some arguing that acquiring a star of his magnitude would place immense pressure on the young Spurs, while others believe that pressure is not a burden but a gift, an accelerant capable of transforming a promising team into a feared contender far sooner than expected. And with Wembanyama already redefining expectations for what a young franchise player can accomplish, adding a co-star of Edwards' stature could create the foundation of a power duo capable of dominating the league for years, echoing the legendary partnerships that once shaped the Spurs' golden era. Throughout the basketball world, there is a how Edwards thrives under the freedom created by Wembanyama's gravitational pull, is a vision so compelling that it has already captured the imagination of fans, executives, and analysts across the league. Even economic projections have highlighted how Edwards' arrival could rejuvenate the Spurs' global brand, driving merchandise, ticket sales, and media attention into a new stratosphere, especially as Wembanyama's popularity continues to grow internationally, forming a dynamic duo capable of elevating San Antonio's visibility beyond anything the franchise has seen in over a decade. Within minutes of the signing announcement, speculative artwork, mock jerseys, and edited photographs flooded social media, depicting Edwards in Spurs colors, capturing the collective fantasy of a fan base eager to witness the next great chapter in franchise history. Inside the locker room, players understand the gravity of such rumors, and many view Edwards not as a competitor, but as a potential catalyst, someone who could push the team beyond the threshold of potential and into the territory of expectation, challenging them daily while raising the standard for what the Spurs must demand of themselves in their pursuit of excellence. As the narrative intensifies, there's a growing sense that the Spurs are not merely interested in Edwards. They may be positioning themselves for something far greater, a bold, franchise-shifting move that could redefine the course of Western Conference basketball. Every great NBA transformation begins with a moment, an opportunity, a revelation, a spark. And with Anthony Edwards signing a 3-year deal, that moment may have arrived for San Antonio, giving the franchise the clarity, ambition, and leverage needed to make its most defining move since drafting Wembanyama. And now, with the league watching, the Spurs stand on the brink of a new era, fueled by desire, strategy, and the electric possibility of pairing their generational giant with one of the league's rising superstars. As speculation swirls, one truth grows increasingly undeniable. The Spurs are no longer content to wait patiently for their future. They are preparing to seize it, reshape it, and elevate it through bold, calculated, ambitious pursuit, with Anthony Edwards standing at the center of that vision, embodying the spark that could ignite San Antonio's return to NBA supremacy. Whether this story culminates in a franchise-altering alliance remains to be seen, but the excitement surrounding the possibility has already transformed the atmosphere in San Antonio, filling it with a sense of destiny, urgency, and renewal, as if the next great Spurs era is not approaching. It is already beginning to unfold. That's it for today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of every exclusive San Antonio Spurs news drop, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And don't forget, your opinion matters to Spurs Nation. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.